Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. It's President's Day, so we're going to play with the Republicans and the Democrats. I don't know how the Republicans became red, and anyway, which one's bigger? Which one's bigger? I'm going to explain this in a second because there's a game going on in Washington, and it's time it's exposed, and we honor our founders by exposing it. Let's follow the Constitution. Get back to the principles the Republic was founded on. Come on, we got a lot of work to do. Let's go. Hello, America. It's President's Day. It used to be Lincoln's birthday or Washington's birthday. Now it's just President's Day. I mean, what does that mean anymore? This is the day that I remember used to go into a cherry pie eating contest. The good old days, when things made sense, when we, you know what? When we cared about things like, you know, who the next contestant would be voted off on Survivor Island. That wasn't too long ago, before September 11th, or we'd check our 401k balance. You know, more and more, those days are long gone. We can't sit on our couch and just eat Doritos. Well, I mean, we can. It's your choice. At least now, it's still your choice. But if you choose not to get involved in this time, where our leaders have set us on an unsustainable path, well, what are you going to do? Seems like there's nothing to do anymore. That's why we have to look at what the founders have said. Our founders have said this: if you love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude than the animating contest of freedom, go with us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down, lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you are our countrymen. Too many ye's in that for me. Where's my little pointer? Can you bring that screen back to the first one, please? Bring it back to the first part where Adam says this. Basically, this is what he's saying. If you love wealth better than liberty, so in other words, you want somebody to bail you out because you're afraid you're not going to have any money, you're going to be a slave to somebody else. The tranquility of servitude than the animating contest of freedom. So in other words, you want to work in a government job where you're never going to get fired. You're never going to get fired. Because you're too afraid of the animating contest of freedom. Going out there and doing it, man. Well, go from us in peace. That was our founders. Well, do you want freedom? Because if you want freedom, you have to have freedom to fail. You want the government to take care of you. A lot of Americans in the last 100 years have been saying, yeah, I really kind of want a more safety net. I'd like more and more and more, bigger and bigger and bigger government. When people said change last election, that's been interpreted as bigger and bigger government. But I don't think that's what America meant. I think America actually meant this. I think America was talking about jobs. I want jobs. I want jobs. I need a job. Can you just get out of the way so we can have some jobs? Debt, spending. I mean, this was insane what George W. Bush was doing, spending us into oblivion. National security. How about if we have a war, you declare a war, and then you fight to win? How about you secure our borders? Corruption. I think you meant go to jail. You're in bed with special interest. We knew it. Get out of special interest. And if you didn't pay your taxes or you did something wrong, you go to jail. I don't care who you are. And a lot of people wanted global warming nonsense. That's being disproved now like crazy. You see what happened over the weekend? Watch the bottom of the hour. But some people wanted global warming and wanted us out of oil and everything else for global warming. The rest of us wanted us out of the Middle East. Use our own energy. Okay, that's what we wanted, right? This is what George Bush, when Barack Obama was elected, this is how bad the Republicans had. I mean, they had a crack at it. What did we get? George Bush in his last year lost 3 million jobs. 3 million jobs. Debt, spending. How about $4.9 trillion? $4.9 trillion. When he took office, the debt was at 5.7. 4.9. They'll blame it on the wars. Really? Yeah, how about, do I need to say, bridge to nowhere? He increased discretionary spending almost 50%. Fiscal year 2004 and fiscal year 2000. President Clinton's last full fiscal year, he almost spent double than President Clinton. And who could forget the wonderful $550 billion prescription drug fiasco, huh? And then they abandoned the free market system to save it with a $700 billion TARP slush fund. No, he was doing good here. National security, oh, that was great. That was great. We have a war, but for a while there we weren't fighting to win. And the border, that was just left wide open. Corruption, lots of it. Let's see, we had Jack Abramoff. He was sentenced for fraud. Bob Nye, or Nye, how do you say his name? N-E-Y, being investigated for bribery. We have Randy Duke Cunningham, accepted at least $2.4 million in bribes. Of course, we learned about the illicit mating habits and bathroom etiquette of Senator Craig, Senator Vitter. We had Ensign and Mark Foley. That was great. That was great. Yeah, we had that. Oh, and global warming, the biggest socialist scheme of all time, not just supported by Republicans, but leading Republicans. Lindsey Graham, VP contender Tim Pawlenty, even the presidential nominee of the party itself, John McCain, all pro cap and trade. Global warming, got to do something for global warming. Yeah, that's what we had. Got the picture? It was all getting worse. Nothing getting fixed. It was getting worse. So along came the Democrats, claiming they were going to clean up the corruption. They were going to create jobs. They were going to get this debt and spending. Remember, because that's what you want. Jobs, debt and spending, in control, national security. You want to be safe. If there's somebody corrupt, you want jail time. Got it? They promised it all. A new national security policy that would repair our image in the world. They promised real change. Because remember, you're here. And they want these things taken care of. So, what did the Democrats do? Well, we went from a small government to a bigger government. Nancy Pelosi, when George Bush, the small government guy, when she saw his budget, she called it unpatriotic. Here's what Harry Reid had to say about George W. Bush's budget. Watch this.
The deterioration of the federal government's finances is the direct result of the misguided priorities of this administration and this rubber-stamping Republican Congress. These deficits have resulted in an unprecedented and dangerous borrowing spree. Total debt during this spree has grown by trillions of dollars.
No, that was when George Bush was... it's not recent. That's when George Bush was there. These same people weren't fazed when Obama quadrupled the deficit with the stimulus package. Quadrupled it. They weren't bothered that Obama's spending spree caused the CBO to suddenly increase spending projections by $5.3 trillion. How about Obama will more than double the national debt that Bush nearly doubled? He doubled it, and he's going to double it again. It's like a contest between these two. National security. This administration botched the handling of the underpants guy. They've handcuffed our troops by banning interrogation methods that actually get results. They want to give terrorists lawyers and try them in American courts. Vice President Joe Biden apparently thinks the terrorists suddenly love us. Watch this.
Look, let me put it this way. The idea of there being a massive attack in the United States like 9/11 is unlikely, in my view.
Hope you're right. Then we have this. I mean, we got a president. Here's the emperor of Japan, and here's the mayor of Tampa. He bows to everybody. Then he does this. He gets books from dictators. I love this. He just wants to have a normal conversation with the people. So he takes this book. This is an anti-American book, rocketed to #1 after this. Oh, thank you so much for the book. I'll read it. Then he also wants to have tea with this guy. Yeah. Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. This guy's a 12er, not a 912er. A 12er. You know, you got the media going after the 912ers. Yeah, because they're crazy, they're dangerous. Not this 12er. A 12er in the Middle East means that you're looking for the 12th Imam. It's a radical 12er. They were so radical, they were banned by the Ayatollah Khomeini for being cuckoo. They believe in order to hasten the return of the promised one, the Mahdi, basically this guy's version of Jesus, you need to cause global chaos, because only in global chaos will the Mahdi come. So they believe that by blowing stuff up and starting wars and having global bloodshed, the promised one will come sooner. Oh, yeah. Let's have tea. Then we go to corruption. Chris Dodd got sweetheart deals from Countrywide. Remember, he was on the banking committees that helped create the housing collapse. Charlie Rangel skipped out on millions in taxes. He's the guy supposed to write the taxes, and the guy who's enforcing the tax code through the IRS, Tim Geithner, yeah, he couldn't figure out TurboTax. So we got the corruption thing. Even more corruption. Oh, and how about the trip to Copenhagen? 2 nights and a hotel room. Cost $4,406 per person. You try to spend $2,200 on one hotel room in one night.